Welcome back to another episode of the Brother Banter Show. It's been a while. We've been doing some pretty cool stuff. And if you have never seen a show before, or glad that you're here, this is just a show where two brothers talk about stuff. And we're going to be talking about some really cool, interesting things today. Right off the bat, we were just talking about this a little bit before the show. Halo Infinite has been all over the news. A lot of people are talking about how graphically it didn't look, next gen, because Halo Infinite's the new launch title for the Xbox Series X, which is Microsoft's next generation console. And a lot of people were complaining that it didn't look like it was a next gen game, but we're not going to talk about that. We are both. Well, I'm an avid Destiny player. You've played Destiny with me somewhat, but you're
Yeah.
not into it as much as me.
Yep.
Um, but what you brought up to me was, what if there was a Destiny style raid within Halo Infinite? Because I mean, both Destiny and Halo Infinite are sort of similar, whereas Destiny 2 is a platform that Bungie, the developer, is continuing to build off of for the next, at least the next 3 years of
And
content.
you still have that much content to put out for that game?
That they've confirmed is coming. Yes, 3 new major expansions.
Jeez.
Um, and now the 343, the developer of Halo Infinite, has said that Halo Infinite is going to be a platform for the next 10 years for the Halo franchise, and they're just going to continually add on to it and add on to it and add on to it. And we've seen in the gameplay reveal trailer that they are kind of wanting it to be kind of open world esque or open world adjacent. Like, it's not totally open world, but you have a lot more freedom of choice and a lot more area to explore from what we saw in the gameplay trailer. So what were your thoughts before we get into the raid? What were your thoughts about the gameplay trailer and what they revealed so far?
That's like from like what we talked about before. It looks similar to like Halo 1, like that
Mm-hmm.
kind of color scheme.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that that's getting back to the roots of Halo, which not I don't know, dude. That's crazy. This is the fucking sixth game
Mm-hmm.
that's come out in this series, and I've played all of them like
Right.
avidly. Like I've played through all of them. And I think it's kind of cool that it's going back to like the original Halo,
Mm-hmm.
because this might just be the end. This might just be the end of Halo. Well, I mean the last Halo, but it's gonna last fucking 10 years, like what they're
Mm-hmm.
talking about. I think it looks really interesting, and like as soon as I saw like the map for the Halo, I was just like, this is fucking Destiny. I
Yeah.
was like, and that's what made me start thinking. And I was just like, shit, like if they are really trying to go more like along the lines of Destiny, but in a Halo universe, what's the raid gonna look like? Because that was like the pinnacle, like that for
Mm-hmm.
me playing Destiny with you. Like it was so much fun, like doing like the raids. Like yeah, I was getting carried most of the fucking time, but it was a lot of fun for me just like going through the raids because they're all so intricate, and there's a bunch of like, and it wasn't just like fighting all the time. Like there's like jumping puzzles and shit like that
Mm-hmm.
that you had to go through as well. And I was just like, I wonder if they're gonna try to flip that into like the Halo universe. And that's what I think that'd be fucking amazing if they did, but I don't know how it would really work. Like we've talked about before.
Well, I mean, that's what we kind of want to explore here right now, is what would a Destiny style raid look like in the Halo universe. So let's think about.
Okay, hold on. What is
Okay.
like the structure of, because there was strikes,
Yep.
and then like the raid was like the big ass like
Yes.
thing, and then just like the PVE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Raids are the pinnacle PVE activity, 6-man activity. So let's think about in Destiny how the raids work. Like usually there's a central mechanic that is introduced early in the raid. Like you have to figure it out or whatever when people are doing like a world's first run, you have to figure
Yeah.
out the mechanic and it's usually introduced early on, usually like the first encounter or something. And then there's usually a some kind of movement or traversal, whether it's a jumping puzzle or like in this new raid, the new dungeon that they just came out with. It's not a raid, but they have like a sparrow. You have to like race through things with your sparrow, or like a maze or anything like that. It's usually some kind of traversal. So you have to get from one place to another through a certain number of obstacles.
Yeah.
And then that central mechanic in like the second, third activities or encounters usually are built upon and a little more complex, require a little more communication, a little more team coordination, and then you get to your final boss and it kind of brings
So there's like
everything.
3 acts,
Huh?
really. It's like 3 acts.
Yeah.
You could say
Yeah.
like 3 different stages.
Yes. Exactly. But they all kind of follow that same trajectory of introduce a mechanic, have some kind of traversal uh, thing, maze, whatever, platforming section, and then your second encounter, like the encounter to get to the boss, and then the boss. So one thing that I think would be applicable to the Halo universe. So let's say um, there's you start the raid in the Halo universe where you are flying in. You drop in on a Pelican, and four. I think four. Do you think four would be too small? Would it have to be like an 8-man team?
I think it would be fine going again with 6. Like
Six.
like honestly, like SEAL Team 6, like you guys fucking some bitches up. You know what I'm saying? I think that like because that's what I was just thinking about is like
The number
if
of players. Uh oh.
yeah like what if there's like different even like different
You were frozen for a
the
second, so
raids so like
go
based
back.
on oh sorry
Right.
what if there was like different tiers of like a raid based off of like how many people you had like what if that changed like I don't know that might be too broad of an idea but it's like if you had a 4-man team you would go and do like some like more like stealthy like kind of mission because there's less people and you could like sneak in better whereas if you had like an 8-man team you would have to just like go in fucking hot
Yeah. Well, so then let's, for the sake of argument here and the example and our kind of theory crafting here, let's just stick with six,
okay
six team members in your squad or whatever. So you all fly in on like some Pelican or whatever, and then
'Cause
what?
they could be pretty cool in and of itself. It's just like you guys like actually jumping out because they'd be kind of like dropping in
Yeah,
Fortnite or like a battle royale kind of game.
yeah. Well, another thing about Destiny's raids is that they usually kind of propel the story forward, or at least the more recent ones do. Like, the Vaulted Glass, whatever, didn't really propel the world forward. It didn't really change the world. It was just like a crazy thing that we went and did. But like the more recent ones, like if you once the first team beats the raid, like something in the world changes. Like the world, the universe of Destiny changes based on the raid. So
Mm,
what would be really cool? So say the reason why we're doing the raid is to stop because the new enemy faction, the main enemy faction that we're fighting is the Banished.
yeah,
So say at the end of the campaign or whatever you find something that is going to lead you to some other thing, I guess. This is struggling to grasp for words here, but you find something in the campaign, and then you have to go and do the raid to stop the banished from destroying everything. We'll just say. So then, that's what kind of sets the raid off, and then you know, you go and do it. So the one thing though, so we have six people, and the one thing that I think is the most different, that could be the most interesting in a Halo universe raid, is the vehicles. There's a lot of vehicles in the Halo universe, and there's really not many that you get to encounter in Destiny. So, what would your like ideal kind of like central mechanic be? Because there's like, you collect motes of something in Halo, or in Destiny, or
Yeah.
you do um, you know, orb carrying or something like that. What would be like something equivalent in the Halo universe?
Hmm. Just like something that like
Like
carries you.
I think like activating like forerunner objects would be something that would carry through the raid. So like you have to uh, kill these enemies and then collect something and then charge up some forerunner objects or whatever, and
Oh,
that
okay.
and then
Be
like
able to press through the mission.
yeah, and then activate them, and then that like opens a door or spawns a boss, and then you kill the boss and then get to move on to the next, the next section. So I think for our argument here, let's just go with that, because I don't have any other ideas that are super great at the moment.
There could be like different tasks though. Like I was just thinking like of a mission like where what if you had to collect parts to be able to fix a pelican, and then
Oh yeah.
you could go and like you just have to like you try to escape like a planet or something that's overrun by the banished.
or
So I think
or the
that
flood.
or the oh fuck that would be intense, dude.
Yeah.
That could be like borderline like scary, like the fucking that would be really oh god that'd be really fucking cool because it's your
Traveling through like the depths.
your pelican goes say like five other people. Say it again.
No. Go ahead.
It's just like that'd be crazy. That'd be like a zombie game. Like that'd be so fucked up. Cause like you gotta fucking run around and like go look through buildings just looking for like parts that you can try to fix your pelican with, and
Yeah,
the
that's
flood's
that.
just linked.
That could absolutely be something. Or like you have to fix up a tank, and
Ooh.
then like you have to go out into these zones, fight through a bunch of flood or banished or whatever, get these
Hmm.
these parts, or and then bring them back, fix up your tanks, and then you can go through, and then that would be like your traversal section. You're driving these tanks through, this flood coming after you and all this crazy shit. Like, see, there could be some really crazy, intense scenes. Because I mean, you think about some of the
They
best
got 10 years
missions,
of content.
huh?
And they got 10 years of content. Like this is
Yeah.
like all. It's just crazy because like all this speculation, this pure speculation, like could be
Oh yeah.
true because they've got a fucking lot of time.
Yeah. Right. Right. So, but think though, like I was saying, some of the best missions in Halo are vehicle based missions. Like the end of Halo 3, where you are driving through uh,
Warhog.
on the Warthogs, and then you jump into the Pelican at the end, as
That's
all the platforms are falling as you're driving. Like that's something that was so intense. Um, and there's several other ones, but that's the most memorable one for me specifically.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you could have just this epic scene of fleeing from the flood or whatever it is, in the middle of the raid. So like in the beginning, you are building. You have to go fight and build up these machines, these tanks or pelicans or whatever it is. You could have shit. You could do both. You could
Oh
have
yeah.
three people in
Oh my god.
in the
Tank.
Yeah, three people in a tank or something, and then three people in the flying craft. I can't remember what they're called in Halo. But yeah, you could have three people flying, and like the flying people have to like knock down these like bombs or whatever that drop down into like these big sections of flood that blow them up, so that you can travel through on your tanks, and you have to get
Mm-hmm.
through and explode this thing with the tanks. And then that like opens up this new area, and then you can go travel through there and get to your next section of the raid. Like that could be some crazy cool stuff that would really be awesome.
Oh hell yeah! There's so much that could take place.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to know what the fuck, because at the end of Halo 5, doesn't Cortana just like go AWOL
Pretty
and
yeah,
kind of?
pretty much yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna work because Cortana like that was super sad for me.
Yeah.
Like Halo 3 was sad as hell because you thought Master Chief is fucking dead,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. That was crazy. Like watching her just get rampancy like worse and worse and worse. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how this is gonna play out.
So then, what if the theme of the raid was like trying to get or like rescue Cortana or something like that?
I would have to play. I would have to play through Halo 5 again to be able to really remember what the fuck happened at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that Cortana, like Master Chief, is going after Cortana, and Cortana is like fucking running away with one of those guardians, like one of those
Yeah.
guardians.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the dialogue between the two, but that's what I remember. And I don't know, like where the fuck is she going? Is she going to search out like other AI, like or going to destroy humanity? Like
Activate other rings or something. I don't know.
yeah, right.
Who and maybe the
Fake war.
events. Well, maybe the events of those games like just don't impact this at all.
Mm,
Like they just kind of say, well, we messed up on those, and this
oh,
is we're starting over with Halo Infinite. Um,
yeah, that would
because
be
it's
interesting.
a spiritual reboot, is what they kind of have described it as.
Hmm. So they're just gonna say, fuck that. Chapters 1 through 5, burn them.
I mean, sometimes you kind of have to do that to innovate on a game and change a game for the better, like how God of War did.
I've only played the most recent God of War, and that game is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be. I haven't played any of them, but they uh, it's supposed to be like radically different than the games that came before it. So they took a long beloved series that had kind of grown a little bit long in the tooth, and innovated on it in some pretty risky but serious ways, and that paid off for them
Hmm.
because the game's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just know that it follows Kratos throughout the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking that story is so crazy because Kratos like murders his wife and his daughter, and jeez, the God of War like gives him a chance, and then fucking Kratos kills all the gods. It's crazy.
He's a bad dude. Well,
That game is so
but
good. I can't wait.
well, in closing, I think that a Destiny style raid could work really well and would be really awesome in Halo Infinite. Um,
Oh hell yeah. But yeah, I think that there's gonna be strikes and shit like along with that though, or something similar to that. Like I think that it might just I don't know. In my eyes, it's probably gonna correlate a lot like Destiny does, like where there's gonna be like strikes in a raid, and then like missions that you can do like on your own and shit.
well, that would be really fun. So you have your main campaign, you have your multiplayer. The multiplayer is going to be free to play
Oh hell yeah,
and will run at 120 frames per second on the Series X.
that's ridiculous.
That's pretty crazy, and awesome at the same time. Can't wait to play that. Uh, so you're gonna have your main campaign, you're gonna have your multiplayer, and then there's gonna be some kind of third, or potentially there could be some kind of third thing. Like some of the Halos before had the firefight mode.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, who knows if they'll keep that, but you know, yeah, having a raid or strikes or something kind of fit into that third category would be pretty sweet.
I think it'd be really interesting if it like if they just completely are trying to reboot. I understand, but like I think it'd be really interesting if they went and like kind of went back to like the old games, like Halo, like ODST, and fucking like had like you could go back and like witness something from there, or they gained or brought like inspiration from the old games. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Hmm.
It's like, what if there was like a strike where you had to like go and like rescue like some ODST people?
That'd be pretty cool. And it could be just be like a well, in the beginning, you know, they probably have like a couple of these strikes. I mean, for lack of a better word. And then, you know, as the game grows, you know, they could take like one event uh anytime throughout, I guess, Halo's history or present, and explore that event in, you know, in a strike or something like that. Like you were talking about, going through and rescuing some ODST people. Or what if like they went back into Reach, you know, like one of the things in Reach, or like something from Halo 2, or and you know, anything like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. You get to open up one event and kind of dive into it a little bit more. Like it could have some story significance too.
Yeah, because that that'd be really interesting. Or like, what if we learn more about like Halsey, like that she's like
Yeah,
the doctor.
yeah,
What if we learned more about her, like, or she sent us like videos or something from like the fucking past, and it comes up like in this game?
that would be really crazy and really cool.
That would be so fucking cool. Or find out like how Cortana really got like matched with John, like Spartan 117. Like, I think that that would be interesting because like Cortana always, or I would always hear like sound bites of like Cortana talking, and it's like she like picked him. Like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, I don't know because I was just playing through Halo Combat Evolved 2 days ago,
Yeah,
and I mean at the beginning of the game, uh, the Commander Keys gives Cortana to you as Spartan 117. So
yeah.
her saying that she chose him, yeah, that's an interesting thing.
Because oh fuck, I was watching, or like I've been really like listening to like a lot of like lo-fi music, and like there's like they people make different like kinds. So there's like Avatar, like they sample things from like Avatar, like The Last Airbender. That's what I've been listening to a lot lately. But there was one that was like Halo, and like there was a fucking soundbite from Halo 3, and it's like one of the first. I think it is the first mission, where like you're the Pelicans going down, and fucking Master Chief like just comes in like a goddamn
Uh
comet,
huh.
fucking crash lands in the goddamn
Yep.
jungle, and it's Cortana talking, and she's like, yeah, "You know why I picked you?" And it's like, she's like, "You're the lucky
Uh
one."
huh.
And I was just like, who? I didn't know that you picked him. It's like the wand. The wand picks the wizard. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
God damn. Oh, that's so interesting. That's it's just so weird. Cortana's a beast, though. I hope that, or like, what if that's like that, one of the first like raids is like we have to go and like we figure out a way to fucking Halsey sends us some shit from the fucking past, and it's like how to cure rampancy, and so we had to go out in the fucking deep space and go find Cortana and fight this guardian.
That would be pretty dope. There's like so many possibilities.
Yeah, and so we're still like we're still pretty far out from this shit.
Not really. I mean, it's 5 months.
That's 5 months,
Not
son.
even four. Four
Like you
more.
were saying, nobody's fucking. I don't know who else is like comparing Halo this hard to Destiny.
I've
Like,
well, just with the platform thing and like the 10-year plan, people have said something, but like not in like the structure. You know how we are talking about it here. How maybe there's going to be a raid, or they could do these strikes instead of having a firefight mode, which is essentially just like a horde mode kind of. Um, yeah, I think it would be really cool if they took some cues from Destiny and implemented them into Halo Infinite. Because why not? Like, well, don't be so like if for 343 to think that they're above doing something like that is dumb. Like, learn from your competition. Essentially, I mean, because all games are
well, who made
competing against.
three four
Huh?
343 made
No,
Destiny, and then
343 is
or
the Halo maker.
then
Currently,
who made
Bungie makes Halo 1, 2, and 3, and then makes Destiny.
uh,
So
yeah. Well,
if they, I mean,
I don't know why they would.
yeah, they could totally pull inspiration from Destiny. Like, why couldn't you? You should. Because Destiny's fun. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. It's kind of a mess right now, but it's got a lot of good stuff in it. I haven't played at
Why is it
all recently because I just haven't played Xbox really at all because I've just been busy with the garden and Theo and doing working and having people visit. Like, it's been a pretty crazy past month and a half.